Hey everybody, welcome back into the WSAZ Now studio. This is WSAZ Sports Plus, and for the first time in 3 weeks, Jimmy Treacy joins us to talk high school football. And Jimmy, we're also going to talk college soccer at the end of the show, so we want to make sure people stick around. But it's playoff time, and that means, of course, football season is winding down, but it also means these games are the most important ones that we cover all year long. You got some playoff action last week. You were at the Capital Nitro game, but want to start with Huntington, the 2 seed in Quad A, who beats Hedgesville 48-14. And Jimmy, that one went exactly how we all thought it would.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've been up here, I forgot where it was. So I had to kind of wander around the top half of the station.
We'll put signs in the hallways for you.
Well, but yeah, I might need it at age 55 now. But I did follow the smell of popcorn. That makes it a little bit easier.
Excellent.
But back to Huntington Hedgesville, boy, Huntington High really looks like a team destined to get to Charleston in a couple of weeks. And a lot of times now in high school football, in that first round game, a 2-15, a 1-16, even a 3-14 is going to be a beatdown. And it was, as 35-0 at halftime. Hedgesville didn't get a first down until the end of the second quarter, and Huntington High seemed just to impose their will on them, as you would expect, because this time of year you also want to get a blowout. Younger kids can play. The guys who played all year long get some rest because it's quite an impressive stretch, the final 3 games for this team.
Billy Seals has to be pleased with that. When you walk into a game where you know you're the better team, sometimes it's hard to get up for that. You're talking about high school kids, and they know how good they are relative to the other team. And for them to make sure that that team didn't hang around, you bury them early, you get out of there, Coach Seals has to be proud of that. And now they move on to the quarterfinal, and they get University. That's Friday at 7 p.m. University just beat Parkersburg, Jimmy, 62-14. So this is a team that can play some ball.
Yeah, there's one common opponent, Parkersburg, amongst the Quad A teams, and Huntington beat them as well, 35-3, almost 6-7 weeks ago, back on October 3rd. And of course, the winner gets Martinsburg, Wheeling Park, and that to Huntington's benefit, have playing so well the entire year. That game would be here. Like if Huntington was a 3 seed, Martinsburg a 2, they're making the move out west, or east rather, to the Panhandle. But Huntington High has a path to Charleston all the way here in Huntington. So one would expect that heavy dose of Tavion Wilson and dishing out to all his offensive weapons. Defense has been fantastic all year long. So, but 2 versus 7, you forget in the playoffs. Sometimes at these games, we're not leaving after a quarter and a half because, it could be tight. It could be a thrilling finish, and some are worth the wait.
Yeah, I would say the majority of the games that we covered, they really aren't 4-quarter games, man. It feels like sometimes they're over by the second quarter or early in the third, and so you get into playoff time, you got to play 48 minutes of these things to settle it more often than not. Let's keep it in Quad A, Jimmy. GW beats Oak Hill 58-14. GW recovered 4 onside kicks. That helps your cause.
That has to be some kind of SSAC record.
Has to be. I mean, you're not even playing any defense out there. It's make it, take it, score, get the ball back, score, get the ball back. And then how about Jaden Black? You and I have been talking about him all year. These are all first-half stats, Jimmy. 15 carries, 221 yards, 6 touchdowns for the freshman, Jaden Black. Dude's unbelievable, isn't he?
Boy, what if they had a Freshman of the Year award in the Mountain State, he would certainly be among the favorites to get it. When you have a workhorse like that, you just give it to him and see if you can try to stop us. And so far, not too many teams have been able to stop Jaden Black. Big question now, can Jefferson, the Cougars, do it Friday at 7 o'clock? Kudos to, by the way, these 2 games, having Friday night games in West Virginia, not Saturday, but that's a whole other fun discussion.
So Jefferson and GW, round 2 this year. Remember, Jefferson dealt GW their first loss of the season. It was a 1-point game way back on October 11th. GW actually scored late, went for the 2-point conversion to win it, didn't convert. And that ended up being their first loss of the season. So kind of a get-back game for GW. Jefferson wanting to prove to the rest of the state that they're still better than GW. At least they were on that particular day. I believe that was a Saturday game.
Yes, it was, because that was the game where we were barraged with college football, and we couldn't get to it because we were shooting, I think, Marshall that day, and it's just hard to get to. And I kind of happenstance later that night to say, I wonder how much GW went by. And I went, oh, gosh, they lost. So, yeah, that was, but sometimes you want to maybe try to go for the win instead of the tie and maybe try to win it in overtime. But, man, 9-2, it's amazing that what computer spits out 9-2 is a lower seed than 7-4, but that's what we're dealing with, and GW has to go out to the Panhandle and hopefully come back with a win 4 hours later, coming back home.
As it pertains to presidents, are you more of a George Washington guy or a Thomas Jefferson guy?
Well, funny story. I've been to both of their residences.
Is that right?
No, I wasn't old enough to be alive when they were there. But yeah, we've been to Monticello before, and then for another a kid's senior trip, we went to Mount Vernon. So I don't know.
Different way of living back then, clearly.
Oh, I mean the hallways are this. I mean, these people were tiny back in the day, so the ceilings weren't very tall unless you go to these big, expansive rooms. But just for our purposes, it sure wouldn't be a bad thing if GW won.
Yeah.
So we can keep covering them through the playoffs. Because man, what if it would happen to be GW and Huntington?
It very well could be.
That'd be fun. But a lot of football left for that.
Well, the winner of that game gets Morgantown and Spring Mills. So just beating Jefferson is going to be a challenge in and of itself. And then you're looking at likely playing the number 1 seed Morgantown. Not to say Spring Mills couldn't knock them off, but Morgantown's been awesome this year. So, yeah, just to get to that point, that potential matchup you were just alluding to, a lot of things have to go right for the Patriots. Let's crank it down a little bit here in AA. This was one that we talked about as we were kind of going out to the set for Football Friday night. Clay County reversing the script on Roane County. They beat them 44-12. Earlier in the year had gotten beat by Roane County 49-14. That is a 67-point swing. I don't know what happened, but Clay County figured it out.
Yeah, our photographer Hannah went to that game, and I told her you probably could be able to leave maybe middle second quarter, get back in plenty of time with the Raiders. Probably leading comfortably. Turns out it was flip flop. Clay County was leading comfortably, and they just hammered Roane County on that night. So a huge point swing. Clay County playing with some serious momentum as they get to the second round. So yeah, that was one that was like, anything can happen in November.
Yep. I said on the show last week, I was like, guys, this one heavily favors Roane. And it did based on what we knew at that point in time. But we don't play these games on paper. We play them on the grass or the turf, whatever it is out there, right? So like you said, they move on to the second round. It's a quarterfinal in AA. They will play the 3 seed Philip Barber, who is 9-2. The Panthers have won 5 in a row now, and Philip Barber's losses are to North Marion and Bridgeport. So they're 2 losses to the teams that are pretty daggone good. So they're going to have to bring their A game just like they did against Roane if they want to get to the semifinal there in AA.
They certainly would love to get another huge upset as an 11 seed. That'd be quite a Cinderella run.
Yeah, an 11 seed in the semifinal? That'd be pretty crazy.
Much like in NCAA basketball, sometimes those 12-11s have a tendency to go deep.
I know, right? Let's go down into single A now. Wahama beats Man for the second week in a row. Of course, in the first round of the playoffs most recently. 48-22 was your final score there. So the combined score of the last 2 weeks between these two schools, 92 Wahama, 22 Man Hillbillies.
Boy, the White Falcons, I'd be shocked if they don't get to Charleston that weekend, first weekend of December. They were playing so well. It's just hard to stop that offense. I mean, just like that, they could be up 21, 28-0. And at that point, the other team just can't answer it, and they're pretty much out of the mix. Happened again against Man. That's a 2 seed. Wahama is playing really well, as you would expect, and they would certainly love to bring home another title to Northern Mason County.
And their game in the second round is actually our last Friday night West Virginia playoff game as it pertains to local interest. There are others around the state. They will play Cameron, and this is at Point Pleasant, so you could call it a neutral site. It's really not. It's just down the road from Mason, of course. But they'll get the Cameron Dragons there in round 2.
Cameron, I mean, it's a sneaky good team. They got beat by Tyler Consolidated, who Wahama beat by 2 touchdowns because, White Falcons 11-0. Yeah, that's a great setting for a high school football playoff game. Point Pleasant, their stadium is fantastic. A nice little reward for both those teams to play on a bigger field with big-time facilities, and hope to keep it going for a couple more weeks. But one would expect that the Wahama, if that offense is unstoppable, so they could Rick roll Cameron pretty easily.
You like Rick Astley now?
Well, who you talking to? I'm a kid of the '80s.
I figured that was right up your alley.
Yeah, never going to give you up.
Yep. All right, let's move to our Saturday slate of games. You've got the 8 seed Mingo Central coming off a win over James Monroe. They go to Frankfort, who is the defending state champ. They are 11-0. That is Saturday at 1 p.m., Jimmy. And Frankfort, I mean, they've beaten everybody on their schedule.
Oh, my gosh. Certainly a tall task for David Jones and the Miners heading out east to Frankfort, and one of those 1 o'clock games where some of these times you understand why maybe the visiting team picks a Saturday because to be in school all day, get on the bus, play a game at 7. That's a little probably challenging on these high school legs, but Miners get a chance to find a cool hotel somewhere in Frankfort, get a good night's sleep, get up, and try to get a huge upset because it would certainly be that if 8 would beat 2.
Yeah. Frankfort, one of their best wins of the year is Herbert Hoover. Like we said,
that's solid.
One of the best teams in our area over here. And I hear that the drive to Frankfort is not a fun one. I've never been up that way, but I've heard it's kind of a wild ride to get there.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where it is. somewhere around that panhandle. But honestly, of all the places I haven't been to in the state, there aren't many. But that's one I have not yet seen the welcome to Frankfort signs.
One of these days, we will see that sign. One of us. Yeah, probably you.
No, probably you. I'm sending you.
We'll see. I'll go to Frankfurt one
it's
day.
A beautiful state. Most drives are fantastic.
All right, we'll go to the AAA quarterfinals. Nitro coming off a win against Capital. You can tell us about that game, Jimmy. It was 28-7. But in the quarterfinals, they will play North Marion, who is 10-1 this year. That's a Saturday at 4 p.m. game. Before we get into that opponent, though, tell us what you saw. They're that Nitro Capital game, a rematch from a game we saw just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Nitro Friday night came out like gangbusters, scored, got the ball back, scored again, 14-0, and one would start to think, okay, this is going to be different than the time they played previously, where it was a 2-point win for Nitro on a fourth quarter safety. But turnovers happened to be a little bugaboo for Nitro in that first half. Interception led to a Capital touchdown, 14-7. Once they went to the locker room, something Boom said probably worked because they came out, recovered a fumble on the kickoff. Nitro scored a couple plays later, just like that, 28-7. And you seem to think that they had control of this game because David Robinson Jr. didn't play. But Capital put up quite a fight in this game. But Nitro's talent eventually won out, and they won it 28-7.
So now the Wildcats get North Marion again, a team that's 10-1, just like they are. North Marion's lone loss is to Fairmont Senior, a team that was just upset in the playoffs by Robert C. Byrd, who I believe now plays Spring Valley, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. The winner plays Bridgeport and Chapmanville Regional, which takes us
to the next one.
To the Tigers. Chapmanville Regional, who beat Greenbrier East last Friday to advance to the quarterfinals. They get the big, bad Bridgeport team that, of course, the defending state champ, and I'm not sure anyone wants to see. Will the Tigers be up for the challenge?
Well, it's amazing to see two 11-0 teams, one a 1 seed, the other a 9 seed. But, with Chapmanville's schedule, that kind of hurt them to be a lower seed with a really good record. But we'll see how much fight they give the Indians. But, man, I was looking at the scores from last year's playoff, and it was, 40 points, 50 points. So they certainly are a juggernaut to get down to Charleston again to win another state title. But stranger things have happened. Chapmanville has talent. They have good quarterback, good receivers. And a lot of times in games like that, I tell people just keep it close till the fourth quarter.
That'll be a night game, Jimmy, so you're going to have to be paying attention.
Hopefully,
turn the radio on or something.
Yeah, hopefully our friends at our sister station, WTTV, I'm pretty sure they'll be there since they're located in Bridgeport, so we'll have those highlights 99% sure on Saturday night.
And we'll see if the Tigers can give them heck. Like I said, Bridgeport, as we know, no one's really even come close to them this year. They've won every game by at least 19 points or more. At the closest anyone came to them was Heritage, who was within 19, and that's about it.
Yep.
Let's move on. Herbert Hoover, they just beat Winfield in round 1 of the playoffs. That's your 7 seed. They go to number 2, Princeton, who has not been beat this year. Princeton is 11-0. This is a Saturday game at 4 p.m. Hoover looked good against Winfield. It was a little more competitive early on than that first matchup was, but second half, Herbert Hoover really flexed its muscles. Just for some added context, Princeton beat Independence 42-30 earlier this year, and that's one of Hoover's losses. Remember that week 1 game was like a 2-point win or something for Independence. So it's going to be a tall task for Herbert Hoover, but we know they're awfully talented, and they could put up some points.
Yeah, I mean, just gut feeling says this will be a lot closer than one might think. I mean, high school kids are funny. They could come out and just play inspired football. I mean, who's to think that Fairmont Senior would lose to RCB? But it happened, and this is a 7-2 game. Herbert Hoover can score points, if they get in a shooting match with Princeton, who also can put up sixes and field goals and touchdowns, but if it goes back and forth and someone makes a key play for the Huskies, and all of a sudden, Princeton could pucker up a little bit. I mean, a Hoover win would not shock me.
I'm sure Joey Fields would love to hear that.
I love Joey too. But just because 9-2 and 11-0, that could be a fun one to watch down in Mercer County. With my better half.
Well, the winner of that one plays the winner of this one, Jimmy. Robert C. Byrd at Spring Valley. This is one that's actually in our neck of the woods. And one that we didn't really anticipate, but we told you that Robert C. Byrd upset Fairmont Senior, who's the 3 seed, which means Spring Valley hosts the quarterfinal. Spring Valley's 8-3. Robert C. Byrd is 6-5. That's Saturday night at 7 o'clock at the Wolves' Den.
Well, that's a game I'm pretty sure we're going to send Andrew Colgrove to. He loves covering high school football so much. We'll keep him in the mix as long as possible. And it's a good thing because, of all the times visiting teams pick, 7 o'clock is the one of like, what? I mean, you could easily play it on Friday at 7 o'clock, but that's a whole other argument. With Andrew going to the game, he can stay a lot longer than I could have because we have a 10 o'clock newscast. And if it's close, which very well could be if RCB is coming off that win in round 1, then he can stay long as possible and hopefully get a game-winning score by the T-Wolves, and then they would move to the semifinals, which they haven't been to, I believe, in a little bit.
And Spring Valley probably knows they're going to have to play better than what they did against Elkins. I mean, Elkins gave them a bit of a scare there, 13-10 last week. First drive of the game, I think Elkins went 3 and out, and it was I don't even know if you'd call it a blocked punt, but mishap on special teams gave Spring Valley the ball inside the 15-yard line. Boom, they punch it in. That's where 7 of your 13 points come from. And really, for the rest of the day, Spring Valley struggled to move the ball, struggled to score. And we're used to them running the ball right down your throat. You know what I mean? So if they want to beat Robert C. Byrd and advance to the semifinal and play either Hoover or Princeton, they know they're probably going to have to play better. But it's not about how you look. It's about the final score, and they eked one out against Elkins, so they live to see another game.
Fingers crossed we'll have highlights of Nitro at North Marion. Our friends from DTV should be there. Bridgeport, perfect. Princeton, our friends at WVVA, guarantee will be there. And, of course, we'll be at Spring Valley against Robert C. Byrd. So, full night of high school football coverage on Saturday.
Excellent. Well, let's go to Kentucky now. They're a few rounds in. You've got Breathitt County 10-2 at Belfry, who is 11-1. Breathitt County has won 8 in a row. They last lost to Hazard, so that would have been however many weeks ago, probably close to 2.5 months ago.
Yeah, back when it was warm.
And Belfry just made a statement in the way that they took care of Martin County. Belfry's legit, but 2A at the top, once you start playing these big-time teams, anybody can win this thing. They really can.
Yeah, and a lot of times in these early playoff games, you want to flex your muscles, make a statement, like you said, and beat a team down and beat them good. To let the other teams know that if you come to our house, it's going to be a challenge. And I'm sure Breathitt County knows that coming to the home of the Pirates is going to be super difficult to leave with a win.
The winner will play either Prestonsburg or Beechwood, which takes us to our next one. The Black Cats, unbeaten this year. They are 12-0. Beechwood, feel like they're always good. They are 10-1. Their lone losses to Covington Catholic,
who just beat Johnson Central.
Correct.
In Johnson Central. That certainly would get the big Blacks or the Black Cats' attention.
You got Point Pleasant on your mind.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking about the Point Pleasant on this evening. The Black Cats, impressive so far this year. Of course, Beechwood, like you said, no one's been within 35 points of them this year in their wins besides that one loss to Covington Catholic. Tee it up. Let's see what happens.
Put the ball down. In single A, Jimmy, Paris, who is 7-4, they come this way to Raceland, who is 10-1. We saw this matchup, I think, like a month ago. The Rams beat Paris pretty good. It was 55-7. The winner will play Pikeville or Middlesboro. And I know what you're thinking. Possible Raceland-Pikeville rematch.
Don't they reseed at the semis? It's worth a mention.
The bracket I saw said.
Yeah, some reason I thought they reseeded after the semis.
Maybe
I could be wrong. But,
I'll take that part out, but we'll just say.
Yeah.
Raceland has already beaten Paris this year. So you got to like their chances. As for Pikeville, they got Middlesboro on Friday. Middlesboro's 11-0. They're tough. They've beaten teams like Breathitt County. They've beaten the defending state champ Sayre. They've beaten Hazard. So I understand that Pikeville's the higher seed, and Pikeville is one of those heavyweights in that classification, but Middlesboro's legit. That's a team that no one's beaten this year. So the Panthers are going to have to bring it.
Highlights of that one coming up, too.
All right. How about Lawrence County going to Bell County?
Once again, where's Bell County? Kentucky's so big. They have so many counties. I have no idea where that is. But, yeah, Lawrence County's been such a pleasant surprise this year, going 11-1. Yeah, that they've been playing well. But a road game in the playoffs in their, I guess, now third round will be quite challenging.
You mentioned that second round win over Rockcastle County for the Bulldogs. It was 32-26 was the final last week. Of course, we had highlights of that one. Just for context, Bell County did play that same team earlier in the year. They won 39-6. Transitive property doesn't always check out, Jimmy, but again, it's something to look at. It's a data point.
And it's also maybe film. More importantly, aside from the score, it's film you can look at.
Sure.
Like what did Rockcastle do or not do to make it 39-6?
And I'm sure Lawrence has it.
Looking at it.
And then our final game in Kentucky, the Russell Red Devils still playing. They're 10-2. They are at Lloyd Memorial, who is 12-0. They have one of the best mascot names in Kentucky. They are the Juggernaut.
No,
that's pretty cool, don't you think?
One of my favorite descriptive words in sports is a juggernaut. Russell with a huge task on the road to go to a place that they've been so good. And I thought when I first saw it, I thought they were being a juggernaut this year of beating everybody like a drum. But I'm like, yep, that's their actual nickname.
That makes sense.
But yeah, common opponents. Russell beat Bourbon County 14-7. Juggernauts by 2 back on October 3rd. So. This should be a fun little road game for Russell, and boy, they would love to get back into the semifinals and be practicing around Thanksgiving.
You know they would, Jimmy. All right, let's go to our final game of local interest in the state of Ohio. It's dwindling down.
Your game.
We have 2 local teams still in it. It'll only be one after Friday night. You've got Wheelersburg 12-0 versus Nelsonville-York, who is also 12-0. This game's being played south of Columbus up at Hamilton Township. Pirates coming off of their 4th win over Barnesville in as many years. Nelsonville-York just went on the road to Columbus Academy and beat that team. Nelsonville-York can play some football now. They've got a stout defense, as does Wheelersburg. This is going to be an absolute slugfest, I feel, up at Hamilton Township.
Buckeyes, solid wins. Columbus Academy, Waterford, Athens, Colgrove, all really good football teams. Of course, we all know what Wheelersburg has done this year, beating Ironton, Jackson, Archbishop McNicholas, and Barnesville. Boy, this is a game I wish I could be at, but I'm going to defer to you that you love Southern Ohio and Columbus so much. Those games are Joseph's to have to the rest of the year. He's following the Burg as far as they go. Nelsonville-York, too, because they're in our area. They play good football, so it'd be a good win for either one team, but that's going to be quite a battle.
Historically speaking, Wheelersburg has not won the region since 2018. That was a year after they won the whole daggone thing. Nelsonville-York hasn't reached the regional final since 2017. So it's not like it's new territory for these teams, but they would certainly like to do something that they haven't for almost a decade now.
Yep.
I feel like it's going to be a defensive slugfest. I know that Wheelersburg is, their offense can play some ball too.
Yep.
Braylon Rucker is a conductor out there. He doesn't make many mistakes, if at all. He makes sure those playmakers get the ball, whether it's Kenyon Evans on the outside, whether it's Elijah Brown, Stephen Hall, you name it, right? But really, the hallmark of this Wheelersburg team is their defense. So I'll be anxious to see what that looks like against Nelsonville-York.
And special teams, too. I mean, not too many kickers have been kick of the week for 3 weeks this year. Cooper Heimbach.
Cooper Heimbach, kick of the week on Football Friday night.
But you know what? This time of year, that field goal could be the difference. I mean, in a defensive struggle where it's 7-7, late third quarter, early fourth quarter, late in the game, where a 35-yard field goal can win it. And I'm sure Rob Woodward likes his chances if Cooper's getting ready to send it through the uprights.
Really, I think, before the end of the half, it really changes everything about your play calling, because some teams, if you have the ball at your own 35 with, 45 seconds to play, you might say, let's maybe run it twice and get out of here. Wheelersburg's not going to do that because they know if they cross the 50, they're going to let that dude kick this thing and take their chances with it. Now, you could steal 3 points that way.
Oh, no. I think it happened the first playoff game where it was final second quarter. He had a 35-yarder. Straight through. 3 extra points.
He's good from 15 plus. I know he's good from there. I don't know what his
career long.
You call it your complete, not completion percentage, but what his field goal percentage is from that distance. But he certainly has the leg for it. So, all right, Jimmy, let's talk some college soccer.
It's amazing to know that high school football is almost over. It flew by.
Well, what do you think about the bracket that we've seen here? Let's first talk about the Sun Belt Tournament. Marshall ends up beating WVU, has to come up, play UCF, a team they just beat about a week or two ago, and that day didn't turn out the way that they wanted it to. But Marshall's sitting pretty. They're okay. They didn't get the first round bye, but they're in the NCAA tournament, and they have a chance to go make another run like they have in years past.
Oh, it happened when they won the national championship in that spring year of 2020. Had to go on the road the whole time, and they played well, and there's no reason to believe they can't do it again. Now, Chris Grassi told me on Monday after the selection show where guys are banged up, which is understandable with soccer. It's as much a physical sport, cutting and jumping, all that stuff. So it's like the healthiest 11 might be out on the field, but every team goes through that. And this might be a chance against Cleveland State on Thursday night at 7:15 to get some guys more time who are healthy, hopefully get a win. And then the rest of the tournament is on the road, barring, a lower seed getting beat by a higher seed. And there's a slight chance Marshall will be back home again. But, but the odds of, because they're in the same bracket as Virginia, Georgetown, NC State. So, yeah, something tells me that they might be on the road, which is fine. I mean, soccer is such a fun sport when it's, close to it, 0-0. Things get antsy, players and fans are getting crazy, and that one goal just sets the roof on fire. And that's what's the elation in that sport is sometimes unmatched when they finally get a goal and you have a chance to move on. And there's no reason Marshall can't.
It's kind of like baseball. You're only scoring in ones.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because I think
each one matters an awful lot.
Yeah, Marshall, Cleveland State, the Herd 11-3-5, Cleveland State 9-3-6. They won the Horizon. So obviously, you make the tournament, you're talented.
Undefeated in conference play, I believe, for Cleveland State.
Yeah,
I don't think they lost in the Horizon League.
Yeah, West Virginia, they got a home game as well, taking on St. John's, who Marshall I think played to a tie early in the year. Can't forget about Kentucky. They were the number 1 seed in the Sun Belt, then lost in the semis on that Wednesday night. They have to go to St. Louis, and of course the champs UCF. They are. Yeah, they're in the same. Well, yeah, they're in the same bracket as Marshall and West Virginia. So yeah, they have a home game against Florida Atlantic. But if that's good, then they have to go to Georgetown. So yeah, but that lower part of the bracket is impressive. 3 Sun Belt teams all together. It wouldn't be something if it came to a Marshall against West Virginia or Marshall against Kentucky for a trip to go to the Final Four in the College Cup in early December. But, like I said, a lot of soccer to go.
And not to put the cart before the horse, but Vermont, the culprit of the heartbreak last year, they are on the other side of the bracket, so
way over
who knows if they'll come out of it, but they're way up there as the number 1, and you wouldn't see them, no one would see them on this side of the bracket until the national championship game.
And that bracket's loaded, too. They'd play Syracuse, who's historically a good soccer team. Clemson, they're no slouches either, so yeah, the odds of seeing a Marshall Vermont rematch are slim because, man, there's a lot can happen in that 90 minutes and where one goal can make the difference.
No Ohio State in there, as we know that Marshall had to go through them to get to the national championship game last year.
Yep, it's going to be fun. I know Chris Grassi and the boys are pretty excited, as well as Dan Stratford's guys up in Morgantown over in Kentucky. And lest we forget, UC won the Mountain East Conference Sunday for the 8th straight time. So the D2 bracket should come out sometime Monday, early Tuesday. But I would be surprised if they're not home for some time until they have to go to maybe their College Cup in December as well. They're loaded. And keep in mind, Daniel Smee, Dan Stratford, all coached under Chris Grassi, I believe. Under Stratford.
And what a coaching tree for him.
It's pretty incredible. That's probably why UC has won 8 straight.
Probably. Have you learned from a guy that knows how to win soccer games, so that makes sense.
Yep.
Anything else, JFT3?
Man, what
you didn't eat any popcorn before this show. I ate all of it.
I got up here late. What a month. Very rarely do we ever, on a Saturday night, they're nice enough to give us 6-7 minutes when there's a huge day going on with football and high school basketball or college basketball starts to pick up steam. But last Friday night, it was so busy. We had 9 major events, and we finished the final 15 minutes of the newscast with us. High school football was a segment, the next segment. Then we finished with college football and wrapped it up, and we're doing it again because I know we have Marshall plays. That's a huge game against Appalachian State. They can get bowl eligible. I believe Ohio State plays. West Virginia's off, maybe to the happiness of Rich Rodriguez, who was not happy after that win, or loss rather, at Arizona State. They wrap things up on the last weekend of November. But yeah, we're going to have another busy mini show, mini football Friday night on Saturday with a busy day, especially high school football, where I believe 4 or 5 local teams are playing.
Yeah. You get the Buckeyes at noon, so that'll be done and out of the way.
No, that'll be over.
Worry about that later.
That'll be over at 12:15. And then we have a whole other thing to talk about next Monday.
Yes.
The week.
The week. You don't have to tell me twice, pal. All right, man.
Yeah, fun time of year. And, and then college basketball is picking up steam. So, yeah, I wouldn't trade November, December for not a whole lot in this business. It's so much fun because there's something every day and different.
It's overwhelming, but, I mean, it's fun.
Oh, it's a blast.
Yeah. All right, dude. Appreciate you joining us. I'm sure that our viewers are glad to see your face again.
My 55-year-old face as of Saturday.
Yeah. I'll have a 30-year-old when next time people see us.
That's this weekend.
It's this Thursday.
Oh, boy. Party at Joseph's. Let me get the address. I'll put it on the internet.
Get it from Lisa. That'll work. All right, dude. Thank you for joining me.
Yep.
I'll take us home here. All right. This has been WSAZ Sports Plus. Remember, Tuesdays at 9. Also, remember to follow us on social media. It's at WSAZ Sports Plus pretty much everywhere. I got to be better about throwing highlights up on TikTok. I've dropped the ball the last couple weeks, so we'll make sure we get that out there. Instagram's popping off, so that's good. Remember, Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you are more of a listener. I'm a podcast person as opposed to watching the show, even though we do appreciate it if you watch the stream or you go back and watch it on WSAZ.com or the WSAZ app. So, hopefully Jimmy joins us again next week. That is the intention, but we have a lot to do. So there you go. There you have it. This has been WSAZ Sports Plus. Thank you for joining us.